Every now and then you hear a story with a plot twist so wild, you just can't believe it's not fiction. Well, this is one of those stories. And the craziest part, it is 100% true. So let's get into it. So let me just start by asking you this. How far would you really go to save your job? For most of us, it's just a hypothetical question, right? But for the police officer at the center of this story, his answer led to one of the most bizarre criminal cases I think I've ever heard of. Okay, so our story kicks off like a lot of spooky tales do, on a dark, stormy, and just plain awful night. Picture this. It's late January 1965 in a little village called Antilius in Lebanon. The weather is just miserable. It's freezing, it's pouring rain. A call comes in about something weird that's washed up on the beach. So Officer Fareed Jabbar and his partner get sent out to check it out. So they're out there sweeping the sand with their flashlights, and then they find it. And it is definitely not some piece of driftwood or garbage. It's a body, a human body. And as they get closer, they realize why it looks so strange. It has no head. Immediately, they know this is a murder scene. But you've got to remember, this is the mid-60s in a small town. They don't have radios to call for backup. There's no fancy forensics team on speed dial. The plan is simple and kind of brutal. One of them has to stay with the body all night in this storm to secure the scene. The other one has to walk all the way back to the station to get the investigation going. And since Farid is the junior guy, yeah, he gets the short straw. So Farad's partner takes off, and just like that, he's totally alone. On a pitch-black beach, in a raging storm, with a headless corpse, and the very real possibility that a killer is still out there somewhere. Now, Farid is miserable, for sure, but he's also determined. This is a good job, and he really, really needs the money. He can't afford to screw this up. So he's telling himself, you're a trained officer, you have your gun, you can do this. All he has to do is stay awake and stay sharp until morning. But the cold is just biting, the rain never stops, and he's just so tired. He kind of huddles down on the sand to get out of the wind, and around 2:30 in the morning, against every bit of his training, Officer Fareed Jabbar makes a huge mistake. He falls asleep. A few hours go by, and he jolts awake. He knows instantly that he messed up. His heart is pounding, he scrambles to his feet, and he whips around to look at the spot where the body was. And there's nothing. Just empty, wet sand. The body is gone. His training immediately kicks in. The killer. The killer must have come back, so instinctively he reaches for his gun to defend himself, and his hand grabs nothing but his empty holster. His gun is gone too. His mind is racing. Okay, could it have been an animal? No, there are no drag marks in the sand. A big wave? No way. A wave big enough to take a whole body would have definitely woken him up. And neither of those explain a missing gun. There's only one horrifying explanation that makes any sense. The killer came back, found him asleep, took the evidence, and took his weapon. His career is completely over. In that moment of pure, blinding panic, as he's staring at his entire life falling apart, Fared's mind goes somewhere really, really dark. A place where a terrible mistake calls for an even more terrible solution. He's scanning the dark, empty beach, and suddenly he sees a light way down the shoreline. It's a man, and he's chopping firewood. Fared's first thought is a flash of hope. A witness! Maybe this guy saw something! But then, a second, much more sinister idea starts to creep into his desperate mind. The plan he comes up with is both shockingly simple and absolutely monstrous. He's going to go down there, kill that stranger, and use his own service knife to decapitate him. Then he'll drag the new body back to the original crime scene, and when his partner gets back, he'll just pretend he stood guard all night like he was supposed to. No one will ever know. His job will be safe. And that is exactly what he does. Driven by the fear of losing everything, Officer Fareed Jabbar walks down that beach, murders a man he assumes is just some random stranger, and desecrates his body, all to cover up his own mistake. The sun comes up, and Fared's partner returns with a team of detectives. And there's Fared, standing guard over a headless body, just like he should be. But this story is so far from over. In fact, the truly unbelievable part is just getting started. So at first glance, everything looks normal. But as the detectives start processing the scene, they start noticing things are off. The clothes on this body are different from what Fareed's partner remembered. Something here is very, very wrong. And here is the first massive twist. After a full day of investigation, the police managed to identify the original victim. His name was Habib Jabbar, and he was Farid's cousin. Because the body was headless, Farid had been guarding his own relative's corpse all night and had absolutely no idea. So the investigators start piecing it all together. The real killer murdered Habib and left his body on the beach, but then decided to come back later to get rid of it for good. He was probably shocked to see a cop there until he realized Farid was fast asleep. So he just quietly took the body, snagged Farid's gun for good measure, and went back to his place nearby to chop wood for a fire to burn the remains. And this is the final, absolutely mind-blowing twist. The man Farid saw chopping wood, the innocent stranger he murdered to save his own skin, was the very same man who had murdered his cousin just hours before. I mean, just stop and think about the insane coincidence of it all. Fair had no clue the victim was his cousin. He had no clue the man on the beach was the killer. And in a completely selfish criminal act to save himself, he accidentally delivered a kind of vigilante justice for his own family. It's unbelievable. But of course, the law doesn't really care about cosmic irony. Farid confessed to the whole thing, and even though his victim was a murderer, Farid had still committed murder. He was arrested and charged. And that leaves us with this really sticky question, doesn't it? A man murders an innocent person to cover up his own mistake, but that person just happens to be a cold-blooded killer. So what do you even call that? Is it some kind of twisted path to justice, or is it just another murder?